You're listening to the Public Health Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Dr. Charlotte Huntley. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this episode. On this podcast, we explore topics of interest for professionals who find themselves at this intersection of public health and entrepreneurship. My name is Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and I'm really happy that you've decided to join me on this episode. I'm a public health entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience in healthcare and in public health, and I've supported so many entrepreneurs along the way. I'm excited to also support you. On the previous episode 50, I shared the importance of setting a weekly intention and how that practice is helping me navigate this very difficult journey of loss and grief that I'm on as an entrepreneur. On this episode, I'd like to share another example with you. I'm finding this practice to be extremely helpful, and I hope it inspires you to take similar action. Now, setting weekly intentions can help you refocus or focus and serve as an important light to keep you on course, especially when everything around you seems to be spiraling out of control or you're overwhelmed with distractions, whether they're good or bad, because, sometimes really good ones are still distractions, right? I learned a valuable lesson and decided to set an intention for the week as a result. My intention was to listen to my body. Now, years ago, I remember I used to go to get a massage on a regular basis, and the masseuse explained to me that I carry a lot of tension or stress in like the middle and upper part of my back. And that's where I would always complain about feeling like pain or knots. So, that's the first time I remember someone explaining to me that stress or tension can, be carried in your body or can show up in your body in a way like that. I've heard that before. I know stress can impact all sorts of diseases, right? But it was the first time, this was, probably 15 or so years ago, maybe longer, that I heard someone say that they could feel the stress, like you carry the stress in your back. And so I thought, that explains a lot. When I'm getting really tense in my back, that's sort of my indication that I'm more stressed and I will go get a massage. Well, fast forward to where I am now. And, I realized that I was starting to feel really tense in my neck and my back, and also having just GI upset. Like for me, when I lost my mother last year, I remember I gained weight because I ate everything. I was in this phase of baking all of her favorite cake recipes and all these things, and I just kept eating. And so I was emotionally eating. This time around on this journey of grief, I have had no appetite and I've struggled. Like if someone showed up with a meal at our house, which happened, people randomly show up with a meal. And if it's in front of me, then, yes, of course, it's time to eat. But if it's not in front of me, I have gone the full day, literally without thinking to eat and with no appetite. And I realized that that's also a way that stress can manifest in your body through sort of GI upset, because I was feeling nauseous and my stomach was just not settled. And then I was also starting to feel, this tension in my neck. And that reminded me of how it used to be years back. And I guess at that moment, I decided that I needed to really pay attention to my body. My body was letting me know that something wasn't quite right. And I realized that if I can pay attention, because I know that stress can really wreak havoc on other conditions. And I already have a list of chronic conditions that are normally well maintained. I usually have a good balance of physical activity and really focused on eating well and being healthy and all those things that go along with, healthy lifestyle and managing chronic conditions. But during this chaotic phase of my life with, this loss and grief and just everything being turned upside down, I was starting to have these manifestations of, problems in my body that, my head was saying, you're fine. You're resting well and I guess I thought I was eating better than I was, but my mind is saying everything's okay, but my body's like, I don't think so. And I just didn't want to continue to go on and have everything shut down, because I do know your body will shut down. If it's getting you warning signs and we're not paying attention, it'll decide to just shut down. And then I really would be in a situation. So I set an intention to listen to my body. And It almost sounds silly to think that, do you really need to do that? But you'd be surprised what happens when your body is, when your life happens and throws you for a loop, then you may or may not really be in tune with your health as much as you are normally, eating well and exercising, all those things. So I set an intention to listen to my body. And by doing so, I realized that several things. Actually, I thought I was getting plenty of sleep and I was going by my normal pattern, but I actually needed a little bit more. So when I started to go to bed a little bit earlier and I allowed myself, I have a very rigorous walking and exercise routine normally, first thing in the morning. And I decided to just let go of that for a week, which is a huge deal for me because I'm just adamant about keeping that in place. But I let it go just so that I could just allow myself a little bit of time to wake up naturally instead of having to set an alarm so early. And by doing those things, I noticed I started to just feel a little bit better. I actually started to develop an appetite. I was feeling hungry on certain days. And I started to also notice that I had a little bit less stress and tension in my body, feeling, less tense in my neck and my back. So I did this just for the week. That was my intention because I felt it was that important. And I'd also gotten so much positive reaction and results from, that intention of being gracious. So as a part of my intention, which is interesting because I think of it as something very directly business related, client focus, sales, marketing, those things. But here lately, it's been about taking care of myself, mindfulness, self-care. We teach it. I talk about it all the time here. And I'm sharing with you so openly in this season that I'm in that I needed to prioritize these things and really decide that, okay, what it meant to me before is not the same. Like I have to redefine what that means to me right now. And part of it is exploring. So really paying attention, listening to my body was really not only insightful, those examples I gave you of how I was able to turn some things around. I learned a whole lot more about what I need to be paying attention to. So this journey that I'm on, I had a friend call me and say, check in, how are things going? And another epidemiologist. And I said, this reminds me of the early phase of the pandemic when we realized that we're not going back to what was normal and everybody kept talking about needing to create the new normal. I said, well, this is a lot what my life is right now is we won't go back to the way things were before our loss, but we have to find out what this new normal is for us. And that means that in some cases, redefining what was my routine before may not be the routine that works for me now, the work routine, the exercise routine, and so forth. So this was important for me. And I guess it's a reminder that we have to take care of our physical bodies. We have to prioritize our health and taking care of ourselves, our mental health, our physical health, because we have to be whole before we can serve or have anything to share or give in for our clients or the services that we offer through our businesses or as entrepreneurs. So this is a very real reminder for myself, and I'm sharing it with you as I'm realizing and learning in real time. So I really hope that this is helpful for you in some way. I've been recording a video of my weekly intentions and sharing it in our private community of our mastermind group. I had a member tell me that that's also helping them to know that I'm doing okay because they get to hear from me and see, how I'm doing in real time. So that's great and reassuring to hear, but it's really helped me so much with this extra level of accountability in a very different way because, I need to show and demonstrate and know that I'm also prioritizing myself. So we have this awesome community. And if you are looking for something like this for yourself, then I encourage you to check out our mastermind group for yourself. It is best suited for established public health entrepreneurs. We work together online and we gather together in person twice a year at a 2-day retreat. All of the details can be found at publichealthentrepreneurs.com. I'll just remind you that if you read through that website and it looks interesting to you, then please submit an application. We will only reach out to people during our enrollment period who have submitted an application. So that's the only way that we know that you're interested in the details and exploring this as an option for you. I'll provide the links in the description for this episode as well. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Visit publichealthentrepreneurs.com to learn more.